You were holding me then in anticipation. I put the microphones live about 10 seconds before you came on. Everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to today's question and answer session. It is now the 25th of January. As usual, before we go any further, can you hear myself? I think we've got everything going okay here. And also, can you hear Louise?
Can you hear myself?
Can you hear Louise Amco? Can you hear? So you can hear me, good. Can you hear Louise? That'd be just swell if you can. Excellent, good.
Fabulous.
Trevor, thank you. B. All right, good. There's always just that little bit. Remember a few months ago, we were talking away and I'd turn the microphones on. Remember that time?
Oh, yeah.
Or was it the other way around, where we turned the microphones on but not the air? And we were talking away, we missed like 10 minutes, didn't we? All right, everybody, thank you very much for coming on this afternoon. I'm a little bit higher than usual, not quite sure why.
The chair's very squeaky, sorry.
It is very hard to get a bit of oil on that. I could get about 3 in 1. Best not do that.
Yeah.
Best not do that. So, everybody is all okay? Good. Got one or two little things to say before we start. Thank you for all the questions that have been put into the chat. Thank you so much indeed for all those. We'll get round to them in a moment. You hear a frothy Andrew. Am I frothy today?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm sure this time.
Not yet. Don't make me frothy. You won't like me when I'm frothy. Very good. As a couple of the bit of chat is going on, we do have a little competition that's been going on. Started today. It's a chance to win a year's membership to At The Bench, worth up to £180. Mm-hmm. If you're a current member, you can still take part. If you're a brand new person making jewellery and so forth and you want to take part, you are more than welcome. And I think we'll get Louise to tell us all about it.
Well, it's a photo competition. It's a photo competition. So basically, hang on, let me get my...
So
I should have this ready,
I
sorry.
That upon her. She wasn't expecting that.
You have to post a photo a day just for a week, because sometimes they go on for a month, don't they? And I can never do them for a month. So it's just a week.
You start off with gusto, and you start off and you do the week, first week, second week, and then
you forget a day, and then you catch up, and then you can't be bothered, can you? But yes, so we've just got a week. So I'm just trying to get the topics up. I'm on the wrong place. So today's theme was a tool or piece of equipment that you couldn't manage without, or you couldn't be without.
Yeah.
So just post a photo with hashtag @ILoveAtTheBench.
Shall I push number 3? That's the wine, Louise. We got the wine.
What are you doing, Andrew? You just can't get the stats.
I thought you had it on there. You were showing the wine. Anyway.
No. Okay. Is it still on?
You can do it on. You can. I thought you had the slide ready and waiting.
I got it here.
We don't have the overhead camera. We got Louise's laptop today.
Okay, right. So
you can take part on Facebook or on Instagram or both. Here's Louise to tell you all about it.
Is it me now or is it
it's you.
Right. Okay. So basically, you post a photo a day with the hashtag #ILoveAtTheBench.
Okay.
You have to make sure that your photo is public. In fact, I can quickly show you how to do this now. If you're not sure whether your photos are public or just for your friends, it all depends on this. So when you're creating your post or your photo, I'm sure most of you know this, but just in case you don't, when you're creating your post, you put your photo here, don't you? And then you type in your hashtag #ILoveAtTheBench. So then you have to make sure that you're choosing public. So it does mean anyone on or off Facebook will see your photo.
Yeah.
But otherwise we can't see the hashtag photos. It'll just mean that it's set to private, only your friends will see them and they won't actually be included in the competition. Yeah. So that's just one thing to bear in mind. And then the next time you post, remember that might be public, so you might need to go back and share that to your friends or whatever your audience is. Yeah, so just in case you're posting something that you don't want the world to see. Yeah. So is that okay for everybody?
So we have to have a photograph. Where am I? There am I. You have to then have a photograph of that photograph answers the brief, answers the topic for the day. You know what that is because we've posted that out on Facebook, on the At The Bench Facebook group, and also on Instagram. We'll just quickly show it again now in a moment. And you just then have to perhaps have a little bit of a brief description why you like it. And then the main thing is you've got a hashtag, I love at the bench. Do we have that I love at the bench on there at the moment? Okay.
It's the 25th.
So there we go. So it is the 25th today. Okay. So that is the photo a day challenge. So today's challenge is the piece of equipment or a tool that you cannot do without. We had some great entries so far. I went this morning and did my white nylon brushes because I literally cannot. There was so many. There was that. There was a rolling mill. There's your optivisors. There's your flex shafts. Your pendulum. There was so many. But I thought the thing that I rant and rave about the most is the white nylon brushes.
Oh, just them, is it?
Michael's
saying, will he be disqualified because he posted his saw?
You won't get disqualified.
We won't hold that against you, Michael.
Not at all. You can post that. So then that's the idea. So then tomorrow, what do we got tomorrow now?
Tomorrow we've got currently making. So what project you're working on at the precise moment, what you're doing now, we'd like to see.
Okay. And so forth. So you get the general gist of the idea. I think there's is there one with workplace or bench, something like that?
Workshop assistant.
Yeah, workshop assistant.
That's Wednesday. The first piece of equipment you bought, workshop snacks, is Friday. Mm-hmm. Obviously not eating at your bench, for health and safety reasons. We never do that. Saturday, moments like this make life worthwhile. So that can be anything, can't it?
Nice.
It would be nice if it was jewellery related. If it's not, it's
doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a bit of an open one. And Sunday is your proudest make. We'd love to see what you've made that you are most proud of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's as simple.
And why?
Yeah. And why? Okay. And why?
Yeah.
And that's it. So you can enter. You can enter on Facebook, enter on Instagram, or enter on both. It's entirely up to you. There'll be a year's membership to win on Facebook and a year's membership to win on Instagram. If you're a member already, we'll just simply extend your membership by another year. And if you're a Freeview member or a newcomer and so forth, and you win absolutely brilliant, you then will get a whole year's membership. You won't be able to win one and another one and get 2 years memberships. That won't be allowed. But go on.
You have to post them on your profile as well. If you post them as a comment on one of our posts, they won't show up in the hashtag list. I don't think, anyway.
No.
I don't think they do. And also, please don't put it on your story either. Well, you put it on your story, but put it in as a normal hashtag post as well. Because
Instagram stories only last you 24 hours.
Yes,
and we won't be able to get around to that. But we need to have it. When we go to search for you on your profile, we then need to see all the photographs of the one a day. It's as simple as that. Anything else to do with that, Louise? Anything at all?
I don't think so.
That's about it. We have noticed since we launched this bit of a competition this morning. Should we say this?
You can do. Well, I think it's probably what a lot of it goes on. It's like hashtag bombing. It's you can't really legally own a hashtag, and it's just So
what we noticed, we did a bit of a search yesterday for. We were going to have I love ATB, but there was a few hashtags that have already been used with that, and it was going to other places, and we didn't want that. We wanted to have our own sort of a unique hashtag, which was great because we searched for it and nobody was doing I love at the bench. Then lunchtime we noticed that someone has jumped on the bandwagon and has taken that.
I think there's nothing necessarily wrong with that.
They haven't, but they're hijacking a hashtag that is not relevant to the competition. And we've noticed that there's a few people who have gone back in their old photographs, their old posts, and commented on their own posts with I live at the bench.
Well, that's great because they're promoting at the
bench. They are, but
also
they're not going to win or anything like that. They
have to be relevant to that day's topic, don't they? To that day's photo theme. Otherwise, it doesn't.
It's just bad practice. It's bad social media practice.
It happens though.
It does happen, but it's bad. But there we go. Anyway, okay, that's enough.
Okay.
Is that enough? Yeah. Okay.
Could you write on the other topic? Yeah. Today is what was today? I've forgotten already. A
tool or piece of equipment that you cannot do without.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And also, before we go any further, we've also got our thermolock strips, our titanium strips, and I have to update the quantity on the mini burnishes that we sell on andrewberry.co.uk. I'm sure Louise will write out that.
Sorry, I wasn't listening, I was typing something else.
No. You may want to put it into your stream deck. I think it may be there, but andrewberry.co.uk/shop. I think it's the tools. If you go onto the website and then we'll have a look at the tools, copy that into that because that's...
What tools Andrew uses?
No, that goes to the affiliate links.
Just do it like this.
Yeah, tap it like that. So
andrewberry.com shop.
.co.uk. Get the staff.
/shop.
I think it is, yes. Have a look.
You think?
I think it is, yes.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
Should we have a look? Is it?
I've had a lot to think about today, you know?
You spelled my name right, good. That's a start.
That's a good start,
That's a good start, that, isn't it? So you're talking amongst yourselves a second. Okay, so go to shop. That's it, shop. So default, is there? Can we go to default and tools on the right-hand side? No. Default sorting,
hang
right?
on, yes.
No, you can't. No. Okay, so copy that link, please, Louise, and paste that.
I did, it's there.
It's there, cool. So, yes, we've updated. We've got the thermalock strips. We've got bags and bags of titanium strips as well. We're selling them in 5s and in 10s. £1.50 postage local. I think it's about £3, £4 right throughout the world. Everything's on there now because people have been asking us, we want titanium strips, we want thermalock and so forth. The mini burnishes are back in stock, but I have to update the quantity on those. And that's about it. That's about it. So, should we make a start?
Yeah. Would you like a question?
Not yet. I've got to introduce it yet, and then we cut it.
Okay. Of course, yeah.
How long have we been doing this now?
Nearly a year.
It did nearly a year. Still in lockdown. Welcome to today's question and answer session. It is the 25th of January. The year is flying by. It's 4 p.m. Monday, and we are going to have our first question, please, Louise. You just put a sweet in your mouth. I will talk for a little bit longer.
No, I'm ready.
You ready? You ready? Okay. Maybe have our first question, please, Louise.
Yes. This question is from Mike. I have tried to make an oval mount. While getting the stone to cover the gallery is not a problem, getting the prongs lined up is quite tough. Even using your graph to show where to put them. When I'm pouring my ingot... Oh, that's a separate question. But it's, yeah, I think.
Okay. All right. So pens. So having trouble getting the claws or the prongs lined up on an oval setting, yeah? Okay. So the little trick here... we've just done a film on At the Bench where we did a little bit of a technique. I think I've mentioned it last week or the week prior to that. So you've got your oval, okay? And then you've got your little sheet here with your circles, your concentrics, and you've got those, yeah? That sort of thing. So now you know where to put your claws, okay? So you've got your little crosshairs. So you're going to put your claw there, there, and there. All right, so the best thing to do, once you've got those marked out or wherever you want them marked out, just put a little line down the side of your... Okay, so you've got your little mark here. Just put a little line down here, perhaps with your file or with the edge of a saw blade. Okay, so then you've got your little dot there, and it's just a little groove. That's all you gotta do, is just a little bit of a groove. Make sure it's vertical as well, really important. Then what you gotta do is to get 2 pieces of wire if you've got a 4-claw setting. You get 2 pieces of wire, like that and like that, and you put one on top of the other, preferably 90 degrees, that sort of idea, and you solder there. So now you've got a crosshair, okay? Now you've got your crosshair. Now what you're going to do, you're roughly going to sort of work out the distance from that opposite corners. I should have just kept that by there, shouldn't I? So there's your oval, there's your claws, there. Roughly measure across from there to there, okay? Divide it by 2, measure out to there, measure out to there, measure out to there, measure out to there. and bend these. Okay? Does that make sense? And bend them. So you've got almost like a spider. Okay, so that's what you've got. Yep, wire comes on, you bend up. Yep. Then you turn that upside down and you put that on top of your oval setting, like that. Okay, so that's your solder here. They come down, and then they come down the sides of your bezel. Does that make sense? Okay, so you don't have to sort of solder one, then solder the other, and then solder the other, and they all fall apart. And this way, if you've got this tension just about right, the claws will stay in place where you've done your little grooves on the edge of the bezel. They will stay in place. Once you've got them exactly right, then you can come along and flux them and solder them. Then you simply snip off those little areas by there, and now you've got your claws soldered all at once in the same spot. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. But yeah, if you do this, you can then solder all the claws at the same time. Is that what you were on about? Because then if you put it on top of your oval and you're looking down, you've got those claws nice and tight against the sides of the bezel or the gallery. If they're not quite right, you can move one and have a look and make sure it's nice and symmetrical. You can move the other one and so forth. Then once you're happy, then you can solder it all in one go. Next question, please.
The date is wrong.
On what?
On
Wait, I don't know what you're pointing to.
the date is wrong on this. The date is wrong.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to click edit then and edit it?
It's on here, isn't it? No, it's on here. You didn't do it on here.
What? Where? What?
There.
Where?
Did you see?
What you doing?
Oh no, it's on there.
What date's wrong?
The date's. Oh, the date on the. Oh, guys, you mean the date on the? I think I know what you mean. Everyone's saying the date's wrong.
Okay, so where it says edit, Louise, that's it. No, down, up. There,
Oh.
edit.
Oh, yeah, no, it says the 25th. Oh, no, it doesn't, does it?
Louise is altering that now. There we go. Save. Should be fine now. Well done. What? I was in a rush.
But you've done it.
I did the recording on that.
Yeah.
There's going to be some clever clogs out there, isn't there?
Okay. Right.
Next.
Would you like another question?
Next question, please.
Mike has asked a couple, but I'll come back to Mike because he's put a few on there, if that's okay.
Yeah. We are.
Ew. Oh, hang on.
Oh, God, what's she like? What is she like?
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Raghunaden? Sorry if I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Everything I know about jewellery making, I learned from your videos.
Oh, thank you.
I made my first piece yesterday. I casted a silver bullet and sanded it. Now all that's left is to solder jump rings and polish. Oh, that's fabulous.
Excellent.
Okay, really proud of it. Okay. Natalia is asking for tips for people who are only starting to sell their jewellery online. I have an online shop, website, Etsy, etc., but I can't seem to get any traffic or sales. Any advice?
Oh, it is.
Oh, we could talk about this all day.
It is so hard, isn't it?
It takes time, doesn't it?
It is. It's because I think as time goes on, it gets harder and harder and harder to sell. Because 10, 15 years ago, it was easier to sell. You didn't have so many people in the market. But
especially now, because everybody is online. But I think social media, personally, I would say, if you've got a website, that's fantastic. It's brilliant, isn't it? Website and an Etsy shop. But I would say, if you've got a Facebook page, because a Facebook page, a lot of our customers come from Facebook, don't they?
Yes.
And we could do a whole hour on social media, couldn't we?
Should.
I think we should, yeah, because once that starts to build up, and it's just this.
It is.
I love talking about social media marketing. So
I think to get a website is great, and to have a website is great, but you are out there somewhere. There's no links going to you, no one looks on your site and so forth. So you have to get people to get to your Etsy shop or your website, and you do that by providing links to those Etsy shops and websites through your social media.
Well, you can. This is where it gets a bit tricky, because Facebook doesn't like you driving traffic off Facebook. Because it wants you to stay in the app for as long as possible. So
and we've discovered that with the
trials. I've been testing a few things out, and I'm just posting products without a link, without a price, with nothing, and then a customer will inquire, oh, how much is this? Perhaps even if you just post the link in the comments, don't make it salesy, don't make it don't make it a sales post, and make the customer ask you for more information. And the more times people engage with that post, the more times somebody likes it, the more times somebody asks a question, that's just going to drive up the visibility for that. And yeah, just be really social. I'm saying this, but we don't do half these things, but we do try. We're getting a bit better at it.
Doing our best. And
when people comment on your posts, respond, comment back, engage, because all of that drives your visibility. And I've spoken to Natalia on Facebook. She's lovely. Just show that side of yourself. Show the fun side. Show the chatty side. Just be yourself, and that's what people really like. People would rather that than a brand where. I prefer shopping with people. We always say people buy things off people that they trust, and people that they know. So don't be afraid to show yourself on your social media profiles. And
it's interesting. You have to then put on your Facebook all about yourself, and also put your website on there. On Instagram, in your profile, put your website on there. So at least you've got those links leading to your website, and just don't necessarily post clinical pictures, because again, we've done little sort of trials where we've posted pictures that have been supplied to us by the manufacturers, and they're gorgeous pictures, they're so detailed, but they are just simply the piece against a white background. And then we've done the same sort of post, but with perhaps
lives on my dressing table.
You love setting them up. You love like on your dressing table with some feathers or some ribbons or some prosecco behind it, or a bottle of perfume behind it, and show them within a setting that people then can relate to. And I think if people can see these things on a dressing table, they can see them on dressing table. If it's going to be a bangle or something like that, or put it on, wear it with a nice pair of jeans or blouse, or
make it look like you can just pick it up and put it on.
Make it enjoyable. Make that person want to pick it up and go, oh my god, that looks really good, that looks great with that outfit, as opposed to clinical pictures. And we found people engage more with lifestyle shots than simple.
And I hate to say it, paid advertising as well on Facebook, because we've started that in the last
6 months.
We started it in the last kind of 18 months really, but it's only had success in the last year, and it takes time as well, but it does work, because that's what Facebook as a business want you to do. They want you to pay for the advertising. They don't want to give it to you for free, but there are ways around it, and that is just engaging with everybody who engages with your posts, and reach out to people, talk to people. But I think be social.
Definitely social media is putting out things, putting out ideas, putting out what will look great with this. Just to pick up some trends. So celebrities wearing these earrings, but we've got some of these earrings that are very, very slightly different, but you can have this look for that, and all that sort of thing, isn't it? It's all about seeing what's around there, looking through magazines, looking through the internet, and you buy some clothes from the shop in Ustrad because they put pictures of the actual clothes. They're not on a glamorous model, just or whatever it is it? They are real life pictures.
They're just there, and then they tell you what to wear with what. I'm like, oh great, I'll do that.
And you go, good, I'll pop down. Keep them for me. I'll pop down.
And my excuse is, hashtag shop local.
But it is all about social media. That is where the sales start, and from there, then you engage with people. Then you can then give them the information to go to buy from your Etsy.
Keep your conversations going, and sentiment as well. People love, because I posted a post yesterday, didn't I? And it was a really personal post.
Yeah.
And I was into myself whether to do it, and I thought I'm just going to post it, and people just. I'm sure some people read it and thought, what load of old tosh, but it got really good engagement. So,
and perhaps you may not get sales particularly from that particular post, but it gets you in front of people's eyes, and they'll see you, they'll see what you got, and perhaps
they'll see that you're a real person and that you care and that they get to know you, and then they're more likely to buy from you.
Don't post anything religious, don't post anything critical,
political,
don't be political, don't be negative, don't rant and rave on your Facebook post, don't say, oh, I haven't had my loan through from the government yet, it's about time. Don't do anything like that because no one wants to hear you whinge and moan.
I'm sure she's not going to do that, Andrew.
Oh, not Natalia, no. But there are lots of people out there who are whinging and whining about they haven't got this, they're entitled to this, they've been turned down for this. No one wants to hear that. Everyone wants to hear nice, happy, positive lifestyle pictures, stories, and see what it's all about.
There's lots that we can't do.
Yeah.
And there's so much that's out of our control, but there's so much that we can do, and there's so much that we still are in control of.
Yeah.
And these are the things that we really, really need to focus on.
Exactly. And there was a blog post that you've half written, we're just waiting for that to finish.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Would you like another question?
So I hope that has answered, but we could go on and on and on, so I do apologise for that. Next question.
Okay.
Go to the dentist several times, wear different pieces you made each time. Now my dentist has asked for separate pieces. Yeah, exactly, Janice. Yeah, that's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
Wear your own pieces, absolutely.
Just wear your loop round your neck. Did I mention that I'm a jeweller? Anybody else?
Okay, of
That's
course,
unusual.
Of course, the dentist often pops in with his mask and his drill with him, isn't he? Or the doctor comes in with his stethoscope. Oh, don't you? Maybe have a next.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Janet's been on the beach. Oh, lovely. Right, Julia says, I use Bur Life or candle wax on my saw blade. Presumably I need to clean my metal before soldering. What's best to get the wax off?
Usually, it's a very good point, because I always say you don't want wax or oil or anything like that. Usually once you've cut a piece, you don't normally solder that cut piece straight away. You normally do something with that piece. Perhaps you'll heat it up and anneal it, put it in the acid. That'll get rid of all the wax from that. So you don't necessarily have to do that. Perhaps you'll come along and perhaps you want to file the area that you've just sawn, and that's going to remove the wax as well. So I wouldn't worry too much, because you are very rarely going to cut a surface, say straight surface, and solder that directly on top of another piece of metal. You've always got to do some preparation with it. So I wouldn't worry too much, because you're going to heat it up. As I say, you're going to quench it, you're going to file it, you're going to buff it, and I wouldn't worry too much about it. As simple as that. Next question.
Okay. Fiona is saying, my silver and solder have got mixed up somehow. How do you tell the difference?
The only way to do that, I expect they're going to be in like a strip form. If you're looking at small little pallions, it's going to be really difficult then. But if you have it in a strip form, say you've got a piece of silver that looks identical to this bit of solder, the best thing to do with that is to get it and cut an identical size off your one bit of metal to the other bit of metal, so they're both identical. And of course you're going to know that solder is going to melt before the silver melts. Put them on your little soldering block, put a bit of flux on each. Don't obviously remember that the little piece on the left hand side is this bit of wire, and this little piece on the right hand side is this bit of wire. Get a torch, put them very near each other, even flame, and whichever melts the first is obviously going to be then your solder. So if this piece over here melts first, well, this strip is going to be my solder, this bit here is going to be my silver. And I think that's about the best way you're going to be able to tell your silver from your solder. Next question, please.
Okay, Iona is saying, if I want to make my own silver bar, sheet, etc., can I do it by melting casting grains and pure silver, or is casting grain enough?
Yeah, okay, so you've got to look out for this now, because some casting grain is only really good enough for casting, because the other alloys that are in it makes it ideal for casting, not necessarily for melting and rolling out and deforming the metal. So I can't say for sure that if you buy casting grain, you can roll it out or draw it out successfully, because it may not be the right alloy that's going to make it malleable. It may be the right alloy for casting and for the flowing purpose. So I can't guarantee that. If you've got sterling silver and you've got sterling silver grain, yes, you don't have to do anything else with that at all. If you want to make sure, and you've got, say, an ounce or 30 grams of some sterling, add about half a gram of fine to it, or perhaps a gram of fine silver to it, just to raise that purity up, because here in the UK, we've got the standards of 950 silver, which is Britannia, and 925, which is sterling. Don't forget, it can be a fraction, it can be a percentage or 0.5% less than the limit, and they will not hallmark it. So it's always good just to add that little bit of higher carat metal or higher purity silver, just to raise it. So perhaps it's not 925, perhaps it's 927 or 928%, or 92.8% silver. And if you do have to have it hallmarked, you can be sure that it definitely will be hallmarked. But please be careful. Check to see what grain you're buying. Is it specifically for casting, or is it just a normal casting grain? If it is, you should be able to melt that down and should be able to draw it out and roll it out with no problems at all. Add a bit of fine to it, just be on the safe side, I would. It was a long answer to a quick question, wasn't it? Next question, please, Louise.
Okay, Mike is asking, what is the best way to fill in a small pit in a cast sterling silver ring so that it will not show and will polish well?
The problem is, if you're going to use some solder, you're going to have to use hard solder. Was it silver you said? Yeah, silver.
Yes, yeah.
So, but that is never the best way, excuse me, to do that, because you're going to be left with a blob, because when the silver then starts to perhaps to wear and to oxidize, you're going to see a little mark. So you've got what the heck are you trying to draw, Andrew? That's almost like the scream, wasn't it? I'm not quite sure where that came from. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to draw. That's what I was trying to draw, like a signet ring, like that. Yeah, like that, and there we go. So that's like a signet ring, okay, like this, okay? And you've got like a little pit that's right by there, or right on the table, or someone like that. The best way is to drill it. Okay, so it's a pit. Drill it with perhaps a 1mm drill or 1.5mm, whatever size. Okay, so you drill a nice hole. Okay, so here's your cross section. Here is your pit that's all blacked out. Yeah, that's the cross section of that bit there. Okay, you get your drill. Okay, you drill and you drill it. Only down about, I don't know, 1mm, something like that perhaps. Okay, then you get a piece of silver wire. That silver wire has to be exactly the same size as the hole. Okay, you then hammer that into the hole. So then on the surface then you haven't got a big black hole anymore. You have now got a very, very slight line that runs around like that. Now you can solder it if you want to, and flood some solder into that, and then all you're going to see is a very, very faint line, because the wire you've put into that hole is the same as the parent metal. So you're going to see a very, very slight line of where that wire is. All right, if you're lucky enough to have a laser some metal into that hole. If you're lucky enough to have a puck, a lampet puck, or an Orion welder, I would then put the electrode by here and fill that then with the apparent metal. So you melt it and you put it into the hole, then you can buff it, and then there is no telltale sign at all. If it's just a slight shallow, you may be able to burnish it. You can get a rotary burnisher, and there's all little burnishing thingy-jiggies going all the way around it, like little rollers, and that will roll over the surface, and it should be able to push the metal and force the metal towards and fill that hole in. You may have to just file the whole surface back just to bring that back into the correct sort of profile. But those are the best methods. The easiest method is to laser it, to puck weld it or iron weld it. If not, burnish it, burnish over the hole. There's no telltale sign. Failing that, drill it, put a peg in it, and then solder it. There we go. That's the best way. Louise, may we have our next question, please?
Yeah. Sandra wants to solder a half loop onto a disc. How do I get the right curve or angle on the jump ring or wire when I cut it so that I have a nice gap-free join?
Okay, so disc, and you've got like a half loop on the top, haven't you? Like that, yeah. So it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm on the wrong way. That's better. Would help if I press the right camera, wouldn't it? So if you simply got a round jump ring like that and you cut across, these ends are going to be obviously flat. You come to solder it in place, they're going to be flat like that. You're going to have a gap. It doesn't look that good, does it? Especially you've got a gap when it comes to here, there. So there are a couple of things you can do. Once you've made your jump ring, all right, so you've got your exact half jump ring. Okay, that's a massive jump ring. But oh, bless you, Louise.
Oh, excuse me.
But your disc is that shape, okay? Perhaps what you can do is get a pair of pliers. All right, here's your pliers like this here. Okay, there's your pliers. Crossing over those are your jaws. And you squeeze the jump ring together. And as you squeeze the jump ring together, it'll do that slightly. Okay, it'll come in a little bit like that if you squeeze it. And now what you'll find is that the ends now are slightly in a bit because you squashed it. So you squashed it from that, you squashed it in a bit and it sort of closed it in on itself. So then you actually then pull those in a bit and those then will be very, very close enough then to that to solder it on. There's that idea. Or you cut your jump ring in half like that. You hold your jump ring with a pair of pliers and then you get your half round file and you just file a little bit like that. So basically, you get your, oh, where are we to? By here. Let's take that out the way. That's in the way, can't see. So yeah, you'd simply get your half round, your little jump ring in the pliers here. So the jump ring sticking out. Yep, you get your file and just go across and you file across the top of your jump ring. And just simply by doing that, you're just going to angle those ends in. The jump ring's really small. You use perhaps a needle file just to file across, and that will get rid of that as well then. And I think those are the best ways you're going to do it. Or don't cut all the way across. You've got your jump ring here. You know, just come along and perhaps cut that way and cut that way. And now you've got your jump ring that's like that. So there are a couple of ways to be able to do it. I like to cut them in half and then just bend it with some pliers. Those are the best ones to do. Or if you've got pliers that have one jaw that is that shape, okay, looking down the end, and the other jaw then is round, so that jaw then is slightly tapered, and you've got a that section. Does that make sense? Yeah, and that's round. You can then squash your jump ring into that little jaw there, and that'll make it sort of slightly smaller. If you make the circumference smaller, those ends are going to come together and you're going to get those right angles. Ooh, next question please, Louise.
Okay.
Any sweeties over there?
No, I ate them all.
You ate them all? Oh,
Kristen is asking...
I've eaten all mine as well.
Kristen is asking, why is silver tubing seem so expensive? What tools would I need to make it, and is it worth it?
Silver tubing is expensive because it's seamless. There is no seam within silver tubing, so it is the manufacturing process that is obviously costing. there is no seam. So you don't have to worry about when you tap it or when you try and flare it out to make collets or settings. It's not going to split down the seam. You want to make it yourself, you're going to have to make it really with a seam in it. All right, so very quickly, because this could take up 20 minutes, half an hour purely on its own. You're going to need something like a draw plate, all right, which is a plate that you draw wire down and it's full of holes, all various sizes, okay? Those sizes have to be then the size of your tubing that you want it to come out at. All right, you get a piece of silver, all right, a long bit of silver like this, that you have to work out the correct size of silver to go all the way around, plus a little bit more because we're going to reduce it. Okay, then what you do then, you cut off, so you make that shape out of your sheet of silver. You bend it then into basically what we said, just like that, very similar to that. Okay, you bend it into a U shape like that, or you can hammer it into a dip into a piece of wood. You make it that shape and you tap it until you virtually make it all the way around like that. Okay, so it's nearly all the way around. You cut your tang. Oh, sorry, I think sorry. You cut your tang so the end is tapered like that. Okay, you put that then through your draw plate with a big hole. You put that through so the tang sticks out down here. You pull that wire, you also put a piece of wire inside here as well. So there's a bit of wire that's running through, okay? As I said, you can talk about this for half an hour easy. I'm just doing it really, really quick. Your wire is inside, that is the final inside diameter. You put it through your draw plate and each hole gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and as it goes then, your piece of sheet will eventually come round into tubing. It will always have a seam in it though, but you can come along, clean the seam and solder it. That really, really quick. I can't go on too long with that, but that is how you would make your own tubing. Sometimes what you'll find is the time taken for you to do all that, it's going to be far cheaper to buy a piece of tubing from the suppliers. And the advantage if you buy it from the suppliers, you can buy it in the right diameter, the right internal diameter, the right wall thickness and so forth, and there is no seam. If you're stuck, you can make it. If you've got a spare couple of hours, have a go at making it. It is really worthwhile, but you will have a seam in it. I could talk about that for ages, that's the problem. Next question then, please, Louise.
Okay, Joseph would like to know, where do you recommend buying loose gemstones?
We have this question a couple of times a month, don't we? Depends where Joseph is.
I wanted to bring up gemstones though. But it is a real question.
So it depends on where you are in the world, it really does. I don't know about anywhere outside of the UK. As I said, we go through this all the time, don't we? If you're in the United Kingdom, AE Ward, they're in London, depending on what you want to buy. If you want to buy really nice, unusual stones, there's going to be lots of people mentioning lots of companies in the chat. That's fine. They're in obviously Cornwall. Those are two of the companies that come off the top of my head that you can go to. AE Ward, you can go to Kunocraft. There's lots of places. There's Hilton Brothers or Gemcraft as they call themselves now. They're all online. But there's lots and lots of different companies to go. There's lots of individual people. You just gotta, don't buy it on eBay because there's lots of scammers on eBay, and I wouldn't really buy, if you don't know what you're buying and you think you're getting a bargain on eBay, you usually aren't getting a bargain because it's not what they say it is. So as Louise has just popped up there, Ward Gemstones, they're AE Ward, Kunocraft, they're a good one to start with, and I'm sure there's going to be people on the chat there who are in different parts of the world who they're going to post up links, and that's fine because I don't know many places apart from the UK that do gemstones.
On the subject of gemstones, Gin and Gemstones this Friday, 6 o'clock over on Gemology Rocks Facebook page. The link to the event is on Gemology Rocks Facebook page. This Friday, 6 p.m, Kerry is going to be talking about grey gemstones.
Grey gemstones?
Yeah, which apparently grey gemstones is quite the thing at the moment.
Okay.
So that's going to be a really, really good one. So 6 o'clock this Friday, 6 o'clock every Friday, but 6 o'clock this Friday is going to be the grey gemstones.
And I did put a link underneath this this video, this film, to Gin and Gemology on Facebook.
Gemology Rocks.
Gemology Rocks
is the company who does the gemstone training and the gemstone revision.
I put a link to the training and a link to Kerry's Facebook page underneath this film.
Yeah. Fabulous.
To go on there, and I know that somebody did go there on Friday. We were there listening.
Andrew was pretending he wasn't listening. He was
I was right. Louise had it on her computer and I had it on mine. She said, "Why you got it on yours as well? I don't want to listen to it on my own."
It was very good.
It's very interesting. All about magnetic gemstones,
magnetism,
which is really good. I've actually ordered one of those earth magnets as well.
Have you?
I have, and it should be with us next day or so. Oh. Yes, I didn't go for the massive one, about an inch, and that little inch earth magnet can pick up about 8 kilo.
Really?
On its own, yes.
Good.
So magnetic gemstones, which is really interesting actually. It was to do with the composition of the gemstones that was not slightly magnetic.
It was garnet, wasn't it?
Garnet.
How to tell? We're telling a garnet. Well, not the only way. There's further testing required, obviously, but yeah, it should still be on.
Kerry's Facebook.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, so don't spoil it because then people will go and watch it, won't they?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but it was really good, wasn't it? It was a good way of if you've got like a bag of gemstones, you want to quickly work out what they are, get this earth magnet, put it onto it, and all the gemstones won't be attracted and stick to it, but they will move, and you can put them to one side and know what they're. It's really, really interesting. So. There we go. And also precious metals. There is precious metals that are magnetic, but we won't go into that now. And it's not, there we go, iron pyrites, isn't it? Okay, next question then please, Louise.
Yes, Sandra is asking, is the borax powder that's used in jewellery the same as the borax bought alongside detergents in the grocery store?
It is, providing there are no additives added into the borax for your laundry. It should be pretty much the same, yes. Next question.
Okay, Tanya is asking, have you ever tried doing any filigree work? I didn't know about this until the other day.
Filigree work? I haven't tried making official filigree where you get the wire and you produce the pattern down and you flatten it. That is really, really I've never done it that way. There are some amazing people on YouTube that will go through it and show you how to do it and then make the swirls and everything that way. I've done my own filigree work where you simply get thin pieces of metal and you lay them down. Some people will actually put them into something like a plasticine. If you're making a ring, you'd make the plasticine of the ring, a blob, okay, like a tube. The diameter of your plasticine is roughly around about the same size as the ring. Plasticine, you get your little swirls like this and whatever they are, and then you can lay your design out and just gently push it into your plasticine in whichever way you lay your design out. Make sure all these little areas are sort of touching, yep. Then you put plaster over the top of it. You pour plaster into the top of that. When that sets, then you take away the plasticine, and what is left on the inside then of your plaster, is all the little filigree that is actually attached in the plaster. You flux it, you can solder all the joints, so you have this complex design on top of the ring or wherever it is. Then you get rid of the plaster and you've got your piece that should be all soldered together. Really interesting way, but there's lots of films on YouTube on that. And I know there's somebody showing you how to make proper filigree with the wire, and don't you put like a spiral down it and then you just gently flatten it to get that little beaded edge running down the outside. I think that's how you do it, but I've never made it officially, no. Next question, please, my darling.
Okay, Sarah is asking, when starting out learning stone setting, do you need to buy the full range of different sizes and types of stone setting burrs, or can you get by with just a few?
I would look to see what stones you're going to be setting. If you're going to be setting primarily perhaps 1.5 mil, 2 millimeter, something like that, well then yes, get yourself some burrs that are going to be the exact size as the stones. If you're not quite sure, you can always buy yourself a little set of burrs that perhaps go from, say, from 2 mil to 4 mil. The problem is you only get one burr. I always like to buy my burrs in packs of 6, like these, nice and Burs burrs. You buy them in 6s because you're always going to perhaps accidentally heat one up by running it a little bit too hard, a little bit too hot, and it will heat up and it will lose its temper. So I always buy them in 6s. Once you know what sizes of stones you're going to be setting. So don't think, well, I'm going to buy all the sizes from 1 millimeter to 6 millimeter because it is going to get very expensive. So if you're practicing, some 2 millimeter cubic zirconias, CZs, something like that would be ideal. And if you're doing 2 millimeter, well then just buy some straight-sided setting burrs, okay, that are looking like that. Okay, and then perhaps buy some ones that look like that. Okay, yeah, so buy them like that. Okay, and then also perhaps buy yourself some bud burrs as well. Okay, so the idea is you drill your hole, you use a bud burr to make that hole that little bit bigger because these teeth are nice and aggressive, or a ball burr. Then you can then refine the hole then with these burrs here. The advantage is that these diameters here are going to be sort of set sizes, perhaps 2 millimeter, 1.8, 2.2, of that sort of thing. So they're going to be pretty much the same size as your stones, and you're going to get far better results by just practicing with that. Once you've used these burrs, they're going to get a fraction slightly smaller in diameter, but don't throw them away because if you do have a stone that is a little bit smaller, you can always use perhaps a slightly worn burr that would make that hole just that little bit smaller. So perhaps it's a 1.9 millimeter instead of a 2 millimeter. You can use a slightly worn burr that would be the right size. So don't throw away your burrs until they literally do not cut. But that would be my best bet, is just to buy quite a few of the same size, because if you're setting and you've got one little burr and you accidentally overheat it and it becomes blunt or whatever, for whatever reason, you've got to stop, you've got to go and buy some more burrs, or you try and carry on with a blunt burr and you make a complete mess. So always make sure you have a nice supply of burrs. Next question, please, Louise.
Okay, I'm going to just skip to the end if nobody minds, because somebody asked about the nylon brushes. Marilyn, yeah, do you sell the nylon polishing brushes, or can you tell me where to get them? Because as we know, somebody commented on your, because you posted your nylon brushes, didn't you?
Yeah.
And somebody made a comment that not all nylon brushes, Mike it was, yeah, said they're not all equal, are they?
No, they're not.
So can you give us some advice on
So
that,
it depends on where you are in the world. If you open up the cabinet, Louise, there should be a blue box. Is it in that? Is it in that one? Yeah. Is it down the bottom, third shelf down at the back in that blue box? Yeah. Up too. You've gone too low. Up there.
It's in my hair. Oops.
There. That's it.
Not my hair.
Those are left from years gone. So this is what I use quite often. Is a brand called Hatho. The reference number is this. Take a screenshot of that if you like. These are the reference numbers. That's the speed that they recommend. This is the number. There we go. Okay, so 28222 HP. The majority of suppliers sell Hatho brushes. They are 21 millimeters in diameter. They work on a 2.35 millimeter shank. If you're in the UK, Cooksons sell them. Can you just have a look at Mulroda? I'm going to get 2 seconds, please. Mulroda polishing, Mulrodo polishing. Yes, we're saying that polishing. Yeah. So if we're here in the UK, there's this company that Louise is going to pop up onto the screen now. It's a company called Mulrodo, is it? Yeah. Malroda, yeah. And they sell them as well here in the UK. They will ship them abroad as well if you want to. So do Cooksons and so do Betts Metal Sales. I know other places will sell them. I think Studders sell them. Don't buy the natural brushes, the natural bristles, because they are not the same. Don't buy goat's hair because they are not the same either. I did a little bit of a film about 2 years ago on YouTube saying if your supplier does not stock Hatho, just tell them to. Because if you ask me, these white nylon brushes are one of the best things that you could possibly buy. I absolutely love this. Thank you, Steve. Do appreciate it, Steve. That's very kind. Thank you for the donation. So these are the best thing I think since sliced bread, even though I didn't think sliced bread was that actually fantastic. But these are the best things anyway that you can buy. Brilliant for polishing. That's my little tool that I could not do without. I think Louise has put up the link there. But as I said, they're white nylon brushes. Is that all that I need to say on that? I can't vouch for anywhere else around the world. I'm sure that Otto Fry sell them as well. And also we've got Guess Wine as well. Sell them as well. How's that do? So there we go. So that's the best thing. But yeah, the Hatho, you can buy them direct from Hatho, but they're from, I think they're from Belgium. Or the Malroda, the link that Louise has put up there has... they sell them throughout the world and they are not expensive at all. Buy them in bulk, buy them in dozens, and you'll find that you'll just wonder how you ever got on without them. How's that, Louise? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, maybe have one of our last few questions, please.
Okay, Teresa is asking, what metals would you suggest if using silver is out of your price range?
Oh, the usual thing, you got things like copper. That's one of the other types of metals. I wouldn't really use brass too much. I find brass is too, it's too, what's the word I'm looking for? It's too sharp. It's not forgiving. I wouldn't use brass. I would use copper. Copper, you can get it. It's a lot cheaper as well than silver. Get some copper, experiment, practice. You can use it. It's the same sort of principles that you're going to have when you come to practice piercing. I've got some sort of copper, no, this is brass, sorry. They got some little brass sheets that you can use. These are some of the sample pieces that we've been doing for our courses here on At the Bench, in case anyone's asking. These come apart, there we go. These are some gorgeous pieces of copper, and they are brilliant for practicing on. They're not going to break the bank. As you say, cut your teeth. That's what they say, isn't it? On copper, then you can go on to silver once you can refine your techniques. There's not much point getting 3-inch pieces of silver to practice your techniques, but 3-inch pieces of copper are ideal. You can get it in different thicknesses. You can use it with your disc cutter. You can fold form it. You can play around with it, and it has the same sort of bending qualities and needling qualities. You can still solder it using silver solder and borax as well. And I think copper is going to be the best thing that you can do. And thank you to Tom Negotiator for the $10. Thank you very much indeed. Really do appreciate it. And I know you haven't mentioned it as well, and Louise hasn't mentioned it, hasn't reminded me, but I had one of my checks, people have checks these days, from Google, from YouTube, and now we've got all the money that we raised in our live stream, finally, so we can send off.
Got to raffle a pendant.
You have to wrap that. That's another story, Louise. Please don't.
No, it's not.
Oh, yes. So
you've got to finish it.
So we raised. How much did we raise in the end?
Oh my gosh,
cancer
I can't
research?
remember. Was it 2, 3?
We raised thousands of pounds. We finally got all the money now from all the donations that you guys gave us, and we can send that off then to Cancer Research UK. Maybe have another question.
Yeah.
Our final question, I think.
Okay, Mike has got some scrap gold jewellery to melt down and use, but I have only worked with silver. Most of it is 14 carat or 18 carat yellow, and also some 14 carat white. What are some of the differences between gold and silver? You've
got to be careful if you start to melt some white down. When we have clients who come in wanting white gold melted down, I am very reluctant to do it because of the alloy that makes it white. Sometimes, especially with 18 karat, you can hardly melt 18 karat white due to the alloy. If you do 9 karat white, what I always state to the customer is that I can use your white gold. If we melt it down and I find that we cannot successfully use it by rolling it or shaping it or casting it and it cracks for whatever reason, and there could be a reason for doing that because it is white gold, what I will do is send it off to the refiners. I then will get the nice piece of metal that you require to make the piece, although there will be a price variation in that. Because white does not always melt down. White sometimes then when you melt it down into an ingot, it looks gorgeous, it looks bright, shiny, oh, it looks absolutely fabulous. You put it through the rolling mill once and all the sides tend to crack. So I always tend to give the customer a little bit of fair warning should that happen. If we buy any scrap in and it is white gold, I never use it. I always send it off to the refiners to get them to refine it or to put it in with the bag of all scrap that we send off, because I don't want to chance anything. So I will always melt down yellow and I will always melt down red. You can melt them all together if you wanted to get a strange color. I would always keep the colors separate. Anything different you need to know? Not really. You can still use borax, you can still use the same torches. It's the same principle. When you think it is nicely completely molten in the crucible, and don't forget it's a different crucible for each carat, don't forget it's a different crucible for each color as well, so the colors don't get contaminated. When you think then your metal is nicely molten, keep heating it for another 20 to 30 seconds, then you pour it into your ingot mold. You're going to get a nice flow. Don't forget, in your ingot mold, put a bit of oil in it or some candle soot. If you put some oil in it, set fire to it so all the oil burns off and you've got a nice layer of carbon in your ingot mold. Do that the first time you have a brand new ingot mold. If you don't, your metal will stick to the mold and you never get it out. The carbon is there, that it covers the surface so your ingot then can come out nice and easy. I think that's about it. We've got loads of questions coming in. I do feel really bad that we can't answer them all. Do we have another question?
Okay.
Yes, please, go on.
Kevin is saying hi from Nottingham. I'm having trouble with Delft clay casting. I am trying to cast a dog. The paws are not forming part of the tail. The paws are not forming part of the tail and face in 925 silver. Any help, please?
Okay, so we've got to think about the way the metal flows, haven't we, when it comes to this? What molds are you using? Are you simply using the molds that come with the kit that are just two pieces, two rings like that, one male and one female? Are you using those rings, or are you using the rings with a little little groove cut out, and likewise on the other one that goes around as well? Does that make sense? Okay, so it depends on which rings you're going to be using. Think about the flow of the metal. Your Delft clay casting, it works by gravity. It has to go in this direction. So if you've got a dog, and I can't draw a dog, so you have to excuse my dog. Looks more like an ant, I know. Okay, so there's my dog on its side, okay? Really awful, okay? If you're trying to pour the metal into his bum, for argument's sake, sorry Louise, this way, okay? Anything that is back up this direction here will not cast. The metal is coming in, it won't necessarily go backwards up here because it's coming in this direction. It'll fill up its body, it'll fill up its neck, it'll fill up its head. If its neck is too thin, the metal will not flow through, but the metal has to flow in that direction, downwards. It does not go down and back up because gravity plays a part. Okay, if you're casting your little dog and you've laid your dog down, I can't draw dogs, that's more like a cow now, isn't it? Are you laughing at?
Why has it got glass ears? Oh God.
Right, That's my dog. It's getting worse, isn't it? Right. So think about, okay, if you're pouring the metal down in this direction into his back. Louise is taking a photograph now. You're going to make a lot of fun of me now because I have a little dog like that. Right? Don't forget the metal's flowing in this direction. Okay, it won't flow back up and to fill his head. So think about it. If you have your dog laying on his side, or you get the general gist of the idea, don't you? Okay, you've got to think about the flow of the metal. You know, I can't draw on the sides. He's lying down, okay? So, all right.
Dracula head dog. I wrote me said Dracula head dog.
You know, look, I can't
the
draw.
cutest dog I've ever seen. You look more like one of those Sphinx cats.
Incoming frothy Andrew. Look. We always end up with the frothy Andrew last question. All right, so think about the way the metal is coming in. If your dog has got little spindly legs like mine, they're not going to cast. They've got to be at least around about 2 millimeters minimum in thickness, okay? If I had a picture by the side, I'm sure I could draw it. But for the sake of we're getting on in time.
I have nightmares tonight after seeing that.
So think about. It's Scooby-Doo, Scabby Stick. Oh, Scooby Stick.
Scabby Stick.
Scabby Stick
like
sounded better, didn't it?
A rabid Scabby Stick.
Oops. Right. So you get the general gist of the idea. The metal will freeze. Okay. So again, I could talk for hours on Delft clay casting. The silver. Okay. So you cut your when you produce your pouring channel for the silver to go in, all right, say you've got, there's your one heart, this is your one ring here, this is your other ring here, okay, and you've got your impression of your dog in the bottom one that I'm not going to draw. Aww. Okay, so this is your other flask. Your two flasks are on top of each other, nice and tight, okay. I'm going to see through this, okay. I'm going to make this now that I can see through. So my pouring channel has to be virtually coming down to the next one, okay. Or if your mold was half down here and half up here, you'd have your pouring channel coming down virtually to the mold itself. What you don't want to do is to have this like that coming down, okay, because your metal has to be poured down into this hole. It has to travel in a, that's this pen and not me, it has to go down and then it has to oh, I'm Joe Wicks, so then it has to go down. The metal's going to freeze, the metal is going to solidify. The metal will take longer to solidify if there's a mass of it. You have something that is very, very thin like this. As soon as the metal starts to flow down through a small channel, there's not a lot of it, it's going to solidify. So you want to make sure you get the metal, the molten metal in the mold as fast as you can. Even if that means the sprue being 4, 5, 6, 7 millimeters in diameter, because the faster you can get the molten metal into that cavity, the more chances you've got of that molten metal filling all the mold, because it is still molten. Don't forget, when you are melting it down, keep heating it. You may think that the metal is molten, but keep heating it for another 20 to 30 seconds to raise it above the melting temperature, because as soon as you take off the torch, it'll start to solidify. So you need to take it above the melting point temperature, so when the torch comes off and you pour it, it's molten, and when it gets into here, it's still molten and it'll fill the mold. So those are the best, quickest tips that I can give you on that. But anything less than 2 millimeter in thickness is basically, you're never going to do it. Don't forget, it works on gravity. Faster you get the molten metal in, the more it's going to fill out. You may need to start off with a chunky legged dog, to start off with, and then perhaps try and file his legs down a little bit thinner if you feel you cannot do it. But not everything can be Delft clay cast because of the technicalities. As I said, the metal comes in this direction, it won't come in and then go back up. It has to come in and flow with gravity. Gravity does not pull anything up, so it won't go up. How's that, Louise? Is that okay? Now you've made fun of my dog. Anything else we should know?
I don't think so, not that I've...
Anything we need to know? Yeah, the squeaky pen excuse, thank you, Steve. Yes, yes, yes. Gorgeous, open, wide opening, pouring channels with flat bottom balls. Exactly. That's about it, I think, for today. What say you? That's about it?
I'll draw us another dog, go on.
No, I'm not going to draw you another dog. More dog questions next week. I shall try and get me to draw something like that on the board. I could never do it.
Pictionary.
Picture, oh. But you know what that was. You know that was a dog.
Well, only because you said before, I'm going to draw a dog. If you hadn't have said that, then could be a cat, could be a pig. You said yourself, could be a cow. It
could be a cow with a tail that did that, yes. Right, when's the next 12 hour? It's not going to be for a while, Mikhail. So yeah, it's not going to be for a while. It's going to be most probably May, June time, I expect. We can say, how about anybody who hasn't received their freebies from the 12-hour thing was watching?
Somebody contacted me before Christmas. I think it was somebody who didn't have the titanium strips. Yeah, I can approach everybody anyway and email them, make sure everybody's got what they won. Yeah, if you haven't, please Facebook us, email us, raise a ticket, get in touch with us, and we can check that out, because everybody should have received their prize by now if they'd won one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you for that. Anything else that we need to look at here now? There's not, is there?
No.
No. There was one gentleman who is in Australia who messaged me about making solder. I've left it downstairs. I've left my bit of paper downstairs. I think his name is Bernard. I do apologize, I forgot your name wrong, because you're going to be watching this afterwards. I won't be doing it today. I will be doing it next week for you. Little recipe on how to make solder. Okay, that's about it. What Andrew uses section is blank. Any ideas when that's going to be back up? What's that about? On the Andrew Berry website, the what Andrew uses is blank. Let's have a quick look at that. And anyway, that ends the question and answer for today. Let's have a look. andrewberry.co.uk.
That's it, isn't it?
Yes.
I didn't realise it worked in there as well. Did you know that?
No. Yeah. Tools that Andrew uses. No. So Louise is going to copy that. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but Louise is going to copy that. That's the tools that we
link.
Just some affiliate links that go through, I think, to Amazon on the tools that we used.
Stuck with the shippers.
Yeah, this is the problem we've had, because I know that we've sent out some burnishes to America at the beginning of the year. I know we're only 3 weeks into it, but it's taken its time to get to the USA, and I think things are taking a while at the moment, what with all sorts of things that have been happening COVID-wise, and also with Trump in America. Things are taking a long time. Now we've got Brexit to deal with as well, so goodness knows what's going to be happening with the posting abroad over the next few months. Your guess is as good as mine. So apologies if you did win some prizes during our last 12 hour that you haven't received yet. Do please get in contact with us. I know there's one or two of you in the UK who didn't have something, but yeah, please do get in contact with us. You can email Louise or raise a ticket on At The Bench, or message us through Facebook, and we'll certainly pick it up with the relevant supplier. There you go. The US mail is already backed up. It is absolutely crazy. So thank you, Janet. We actually know what Janet looks like.
Yeah, it was lovely to see a photo of you, Janet.
Good to see a picture of you looking nice and brown in Fuerteventura. Very jealous there. So don't forget.
And you're at the bench apron as well.
Oh, was it? I never saw. Oh, that's cool. Oh, nice. Thank you very much for that. Do appreciate that. So,
yeah, looking fab.
Don't forget, we have got our competition that is going on throughout this week to win a year's membership to At The Bench on Facebook and on Instagram. Tomorrow's photo topic is Louise, if you don't mind.
Is currently making. What are you currently making? We'd love to see.
Oh, so what are you currently making? Put a picture up, say this is what I'm currently making. Hashtag I love At The Bench. Do that on Facebook, do that on Instagram, and we will take a look. And we'd love to see your photographs. We're going to have our tea tonight and look over some of the photographs, aren't we? Some really nice ones to see what people can't do without. It's a hard question. It's a hard one to answer. Someone said, well, I can't do without this. This is my first one. This is my second one. This is my third one. And it's like that because you can't really do without a lot of things, can you?
Yeah.
You know,
I suppose it's what do you use the most of? What has the biggest...
In one respect, you're sore, isn't it? That's the number one thing that you sort of buy first off. So that is, and that could be like my number one, that's my first saw. I think that's going to be a hard question because some people may not have the first item that they bought, their first tool. They may have thrown it away.
What was the first item you bought?
This.
That specific saw.
This specific saw. This specific saw.
That actual
this
one.
Actual one was the first one that I had. There may be some pliers downstairs with black handles. They were my first pliers as well. I think I may have them downstairs. So yeah, these are the first tools I bought. Still using it today. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Next week is going to be the 1st of Feb.
Yeah,
I do believe.
No, it's February next week.
I think it is. Double check for me, please, Louise, just so I don't make a.
Certainly will.
A mess. 25th today. 31 days hath January.
Yeah, 1st of Feb. Oh my goodness.
So we look forward to seeing you the 1st of February, Monday, when we should announce the winners of our photo competition. Couldn't we?
Well, we can't wait till Tuesday because it runs for the whole of Monday, doesn't it?
Monday as well? No, Monday to Sunday.
Oh no, it finishes, doesn't it? Yeah, of course it does. What am I saying? Yeah, so it'll have finished by Monday
night. So perhaps we'll announce the winner this time next week. Cool. So don't forget, please, you can win a year's membership to At The Bench. If you're a member already, we'll extend your membership by a whole year. That is not a problem. Enter it on Facebook, enter it on Instagram. Check out the little rules and bits and pieces on At The Bench's Facebook page for a bit more information. Check out the stories that we're going to be putting up on Instagram as well over the week. We may repost some pictures and so forth. What time do we use? Greenwich Mean Time. Yes, we do. So it's 4 p.m. here, and it's roughly around about 11 o'clock in the US Western, and it's roughly around about 8 hours on the East Coast back. So it's at 4, so I'll be, I can't work out that, 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, Eastern. I'm not going to go anymore. Old Man Blind, has Brexit affected the cost of materials? There's someone interested in starting making jewelry in the UK. I wondered if there were any issues when ordering materials and who to use. Very quickly now, just in that question, as far as I'm aware of, Brexit hasn't made any difference to the materials because the majority of materials are sort of refined and manufactured in the UK when it comes to silver and gold and so forth. Perhaps if we have to ship in materials, not materials, but say pliers that are made abroad, yes, and I know that we do buy in from Italy, don't we? Some nomination, then brand nomination, and we do have to pay a little bit more now for shipping because of the shipping costs and so forth. The minimum order's changed. Yeah, the minimum order's changed. So you may find that prices will change over the next few weeks. There we go. Thank you. Anything you want to say, Louise?
No, just don't forget to tune in to Gemstones 6 o'clock Friday night
on Facebook. The links are below the film here. And check out Kerry's courses. I know the January one is obviously full, but I think she's got some coming in now for February. Check them out. Interesting, really interesting lady, knows her stuff. She doesn't stop, does she? She doesn't draw breath. She just knows it, just keeps going. Fabulous. Everyone, thank you very much. Say bye, Louise.
Bye-bye, Louise.
And we will see you next Monday, the 1st of February, for another question and answer. Don't forget, get your questions in really, really early. We've had loads of questions, and I do apologise we don't get around to them all, but we would be here until midnight if we did. As Beth just says, give us a thumbs up, like it. There's still some negs. Who cares? It's the thumbs up. It's the positiveness we like. And thank you all for joining us this afternoon. It's absolutely been fantastic. Love seeing everyone's face and everyone chit-chats. Good. Where do you get the base for your borax? They're just unglazed dishes. You can buy them from the tool suppliers. Unglazed dishes for your borax dish. Really, really quick. Thank you. We'll see you next week, 1st of February. Take care. See you then. Bye for now.